Well, thank you so much for joining us for our J Fashions Weddings panel. And I guess without further ado, let's start off with some introductions of our lovely panelists. First off, we have Kim. Kim, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Kim. My handle on all my social media is Kimbuucha because I love kombucha. And I've been in Lolita for about 5 or 6 years. I don't know. I stopped counting. And I do a lot of J fashion content, and I'm planning a wedding. So this is a grand old time.
Yay. Do you guys have a date yet, Kim, or are you still kind of working on that?
We do. Our date is the end of June of this year. And it's a lot of challenges around that, which I'm happy to go into. So yeah.
Oh, yeah. I would love to hear more about that. Okay. And then next up, Michelle, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Michelle. I wear Gothic Lolita pretty much exclusively. I also make jewelry. My brand Porcelain Song participated in this event, which was super fun. I've been married for almost 5 years, 5 years this July. And while my wedding wasn't like totally like full J fashion, it was inspired in a lot of different ways. I've been in Lolita for like 10-ish years, give or take. And my Instagram is Seraphina. And that's pretty much all my socials.
Awesome. Thanks, Michelle. Mm-hmm. And last up, I'm C. I'm like probably a Lolita. I wear a lot of old school. I've been wearing Lolita since 2006. I'm not going to do the math on that. And you can find me on social media at Purestmaiden. And like Kim, I'm planning a wedding. Originally, our date was supposed to be June of last year for extremely obvious reasons that did not happen. And so now it's wedding TVA. So we're just going to go into a little bit about kind of our wedding planning processes, or in Michelle's case, her actual wedding. And then at the end, we'll open it up to any questions. And if you have any questions, thoughts that you want to share, feel free to just drop it in the chat as we go along, okay? All right, so to start off, let's talk about like invitations and paper goods. Did you guys choose to incorporate, I guess, Michelle, let's start with you since you already sent yours out. Did you guys choose to incorporate your J fashion style into your invitations? And also, sorry, for some background, Michelle's wife is also interested in Japanese fashion. Yes. So they're a J fashion power couple.
Our invitations weren't so much J fashion as they were just like kind of goth inspired. So we had the idea to make our invitations look like a Ouija board. And so I made them I wish I had an image of it. I don't know where they are. But I made it in like Photoshop, and it said, together with their families, Michelle and Nicole invite you, in like the Ouija font. And then on the back it said like RSVP yes or no.
Oh,
and
so cool.
I was really proud of it. But it was actually super cost effective because I made it and then we just took it to like FedEx. So it was super easy.
Nice. Kim, have you guys started sending out your invites and save the dates yet?
We sent out save the dates. And I don't even know we're going to send out invites, to be honest, because we've decided to live stream our wedding. So most people will probably be watching it online. But yeah, we're drastically cutting down our guest list, and it's like, who is going to get an invite? So we're just, going to cross that bridge when we come to it, which I feel like at some point, like, you got to get the show on the road. But I think most people are very understanding of the fact that like it's a pandemic and not everyone's going to come. So
yeah, it's a pandemic. I think maybe the invitations, I know we ran into the same thing where we went to get them printed and then it was like, oh, we actually don't know what our date's going to be. Like, we'll just send out a Facebook invite. So originally I had something planned like similar to Michelle, where I was like, oh, like a whole fake magazine page with like lace trim, and
that's so cute.
It's not going to happen now. It's okay. Maybe in 2023. If I can find the files on my computer, I'll like show them off on my Instagram because I started. But okay. So next up, let's talk about our venue and kind of where we're going to have the wedding. So Kim, have you guys picked a venue yet?
We did. We got engaged in 2019, and we had picked our venue like 2 weeks after we got engaged because I was like, well, not playing around. Like we show on the road, and then we already had our venue booked, and then COVID happened, and we are sticking with that venue because it's like 6 acres and it's entirely outdoors. So we're really excited to have made that decision. So yeah, we can still have a little ceremony and still be pretty safe and space people out and all of that. So yeah, it's in like wine country, Oregon. So it's really beautiful. Lots of wineries, which we probably won't get to go to, but yeah.
Maybe one day. Yeah, our venue is also going to be, we're having our ceremony at some property that my fiance's family owns, but our venue is also a winery in Placer County in California. So at least when it does happen, there's going to be some wine. So
Yes.
And Michelle, where was your venue? I have a picture actually. Wait, sorry. Because I thought your venue was super cool.
So our venue, we decided that we are not a DIY couple, and we just wanted to like pay somebody to make my wedding look good. So we got married at the Venetian in Las Vegas. And it was like a planned wedding. Every time I tell people I got married in Vegas, they're like, oh, okay. No, like it was planned. Like we had a guest list and everything. But the Venetian is just like this gorgeous hotel. It's like just the right amount of opulent and like almost like garish that I was super into it. Like clearly we're not into dramatic at all. So
I was going to say you guys are extremely low key.
Oh yeah, totally.
Oh, I love it.
So yeah, we got married at the Venetian. It was really nice. And it was a pretty small ceremony. We did just one of the indoor rooms, but they had like a bunch of really gorgeous like outdoor venues as well. But we got married in July, so we did not do the outdoor part.
You don't want to be outside in the desert in July in your wedding dress.
But it turned out really nice because after the ceremony, all we had to do for photos was like walk out into the hall, and then this gorgeous backdrop was right there.
Right?
Yeah.
So
I think you definitely
we thought we were pretty clever.
Yeah, you guys did a great job. I mean, like that venue, that ceiling, amazing.
Climate controlled.
I know. I was thinking
Our
like,
photographer was awesome.
Oh.
She had so much fun working with 2 dresses too.
I can imagine. Yeah, so I know this is like not on any of the slides, but I'm just going to throw it in here right now. So one of my friends hired like a cosplay and J-fashion photographer for their wedding. Did you guys was your photographer experience with like J-fashion photography, or was she like a normal wedding?
She was, she came with the wedding package.
Oh,
wow.
Awesome.
And it just happened to work out super well. Like when I said that we just wanted to pay somebody and have it done, we just wanted to pay somebody and have it done.
I respect
that. It
worked
out really well, and it was actually not too expensive because we had a pretty small ceremony.
Mm-hmm. How many people did you guys have in total?
I want to say like 50.
Okay. Yeah.
And then it was funny because like my sister's wedding was like 3 months later, and she had like 200. So I think my mom was good with my with my ridiculous Vegas ceremony.
It's a lot of people to feed.
I know. 200 is like, oh. Do I have 200 friends? I hope not. They're not all coming. Okay. And so next up, let's talk a little bit about decor. I know, Kim, you had some images of your inspiration that you had shared.
Yes.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about your thoughts?
Yeah. So my whole vision, which has gone out the window because pandemic, was like very like romantic and flowy and like, I don't know, just like wispy and all of that. So a lot of my inspiration came from, I want to call it rustic, because you think of rustic, you think of like burlap, and that's not what we're going.
Like a burlap mason jar.
Right? Not it at all. It's a lot of natural elements, a lot of recycled things, because like weddings are very extravagant and expensive, and it doesn't make sense to buy a bunch of stuff to then throw it away. So like lots of natural things. And lots of like drapery, because our venue is outside and there's like a huge pavilion and it's like a blank slate. So a lot of stuff we have to bring in to decorate. Mm-hmm. So that's my whole vibe. And of course, since we're trying to be as safe as possible, sanitation stations and being able to like bring some sort of cute thematic decor in while also practicing safe social distancing and like being safe and all of that is also going to be incorporated into our venue and our decor. So yeah.
Nice. And would it be safe to say like blush is going to be one of your wedding colors, or did you just like the image?
Our colors are, I like the image. Our colors are actually like lavender and like gray, but it's really hard to find lavender, like cute tablecloths. They all look like there's like one shade of lavender and they're not quite the shade of lavender that we're going for. So yeah. But this is just all like inspiration.
I love it. It's gorgeous. And
I
Michelle,
love the hand sanitizer favors.
Yeah, look, those would be favors. Like, do you have enough? You ran out? Do you not? You want another bottle? You got your whole big bottle of Purell? Here you go. Like, yeah.
So I actually have a hand sanitizer story, if anybody was thinking about this. So one of my high school acquaintances, emphatically not a friend, had a not socially distanced wedding in March of this year, right when restrictions were at their highest, with like way too many people and not enough space. And I was really aghast at their wedding favors, which were bottles of hand sanitizer that had like their names and the date, and then their wedding like catchphrase, which was "You can't quarantine love." And it was just like maybe you can't quarantine love, but you should quarantine like your 90-year-old grandma. Like, I don't know. So I'm glad to hear that you were not going that route.
Like, yeah. And there's a lot of people like making like, you know, jokes about it and trying to make light of the situation. But I mean, there's still some seriousness to be taken about it. So
absolutely. And so Michelle, so I know you mentioned you kind of did like a wedding package and it was just like, let's pay somebody to do it. How was the decor for that?
It actually worked really well. So what we did was the private room that we had the West ceremony in, we just bought like a couple of floral packages. We had a black runner and white rose petals. And we got these two really big, our colors were black, white, and blue because I'm predictable.
And I think we have to specify, it was like moitié blue.
Yeah, it was. I literally, we were picking our colors and I thought, what if we did black and blue? And Nicole was like, you're a dork, but okay. So yeah, we had a black and blue wedding because that's me. But we bought like these two really gorgeous like floral displays that came from like the hotel florist, and then we brought those with us to the reception. So
nice.
It turned out really well. I don't know if I had any pictures of the actual ceremony in here or not.
Yeah, I don't think you sent me any, but that sounds incredible. I remember seeing
it was pretty cool.
Yeah,
I like the idea.
Together really easily.
I like the idea of black and blue because you think of wedding, you think of like this usual colors, and like black and blue is not a color that you usually hear talked about with weddings. So it makes it very unique and different. So
I knew I wanted a black wedding dress. So we were like, you know what, go big or go home.
I love that thought. Yeah, my wedding colors are going to be like baby blue and pastel pink. So I think I'm with Kim. I'm going to go the more like traditional route. So okay, so next up we have so our dresses. So I know, Kim, you mentioned you kind of have a dress in mind, although you didn't want to spoil it yet, right?
Yeah. I actually picked up my dress yesterday. But yeah, I have the dress already and it goes with our theme. It's flowy, and the word that the designer used is ethereal. So yeah, it's like flowy, lace, beading, embroidery, poofy. It was difficult because a lot of people, when we first like talked about getting married, they were like, well, are you going to wear a Lolita dress for your wedding? And that was something my fiance had asked. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. But ultimately I decided against it. Because I knew I wanted like a long train. And I don't know if there are Lolita wedding dresses like with long trains.
There is one from Baby, but it's...
I was going to say, I feel like Baby did one.
Baby did one, but it's kind of heinous. I mean, and also, sorry, in the interest of full disclosure, I hate Baby. So, and especially their kind of over-the-top designs, but it was like a normal length Lolita dress with just a big train on the back. So it was...
okay.
It was just a look of its own. So did you consider getting a Lolita wedding dress, or was it like, it's got to be the train, I'm going to just go the traditional route?
I thought about it for a second, but then I was like, I want to do traditional because I feel like a lot of people in their head, they have an idea of what their wedding looks like from a young age. And Lolita was never a part of that. And I don't know. I was just not able to break away from that idea. So
Yeah, that's totally fair. And so, Michelle, I know you sent me some pictures of your wedding dress, which was
Yes.
incredible. So what was your like dress selection process?
So I called so many different boutiques asking, do you have black wedding dresses? And every single one was like, we have some bridesmaids dresses. And I'm like, I'm not wearing a bridesmaid's dress on my wedding day. Like, it's not happening. So what we ended up doing was I considered doing like an online tailor or something like that, but I really wanted to be there to have it fit to me. So we ended up finding this really nice boutique in Scottsdale that they were super friendly when I came in, and they said that they had done custom orders before where this lady wanted a red dress. And so what she did was she picked out one of their designs, and they basically made that dress but in red. And so we basically did something like that. So I picked a base dress that I really liked, and then we just totally customized it, and it was a really awesome experience. She was excited to work with black. And I like the original didn't have the sleeves on it, but I knew I wanted like the lace sleeves, and had these like little beaded appliques that we put on to give it a little bit more texture. And then of course I knew I wanted like a big ball gown because I wanted to be like that bitch. Sorry for my language.
It's fine. Bay Area is a cursing friendly.
It ended up turned out really, really well. And it was so different from Nicole's dress that I thought was really cool because she wore white. And hers was a lot more like sleek and modern.
I love the sleeves.
The sleeves are amazing.
The
and
neckline.
both of your guys' personality like came out in your dresses.
Yeah, the neckline, I really liked how the neckline came out. I just like showed her a picture, like, can you make it look like this? And she was like, okay.
Amazing. I love that so much. Yeah, this is so interesting hearing about your guys' thought process, because for me, I also I briefly actually did consider a Lolita wedding dress, but I couldn't find one that I liked, and it wasn't because I didn't want to wear Lolita. It's just because I'm picky about like the neckline and the shoulders, and they all like had a color that would have looked really weird on my like weird little chicken neck. And so I actually I went for a vintage dress that had like a similar feel to a Lolita piece, but had the color that I liked and the neckline I like. So mine is just like a vintage 50s prom dress that I found for $20 on Etsy, because I'm a true gremlin. So yeah, so please look forward to it.
Before we move on, I forgot to mention, I actually wore a couple moitié pieces on my wedding day too, because
Nice.
So like my something blue was the M. Qua Swarovski necklace, which I don't know if you can kind of see it in one of those photos. And then I was wearing like this velvet rose tulle headpiece with my veil. So that was kind of another way that we incorporated a little bit of fashion. And then like our nails were super blinged out.
I was gonna say, can we talk about those nails right there?
Yeah. So I wanted blue and black, obviously. And Nicole is, her style was like super feminine. And she wanted like pink roses and pink nails and a white dress. And I wanted a black dress and blue roses. And, but she had these like really like Giotto type nails. And then her makeup was a little Giotto inspired too, as well. Like I think she actually like took a picture from a geisha and showed it to the makeup artist and was like, make me look like this. And she had like the big circle lenses, so it was kind of fun. But yeah,
Michelle, question: how long did it take for your dress to get made?
Oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember. It was like. Sorry, it's been like 5 years, so I can't remember.
Sorry.
I want to say it was like 4 or 5 months, something like that. We had multiple fittings. And, she always had like, we did like the muslin fitting, and then we did a mock-up, and then, the actual dress. I'll have to double check and see, because I can't actually remember the full timeline.
Okay.
But yeah.
I was just curious. I love
Are
it.
you having your dress made as well, Kim? Or?
It's just like a you know, you go to the bridal salon and you pick one out and then they get it made to your measurements kind of deal. And mine took about 6 months. So
also, so Mindy has a question actually for you, Kim. How did you do fittings for your dress?
I haven't actually had my fittings yet. I went in and then got it. I picked out my dress and then they, you know, they bring it in and they figure out what size to order. And then it takes them however many months to make it. And so I'm at the first step where I just received my dress. It's too big, so I'm going to have to get it taken in and hemmed and add a bustle and all that other stuff. So my first fitting is going to be in 2 weeks. And then that's when they're going to charge me more money.
Well, yeah. That's how it always is with weddings, right? Like you do something that's like more money, all right.
And that's the part I think a lot of people forget when they're making their budget is like, this is my budget for my dress. It's like $500, $1,000, whatever. And then they forget that like when you go to get it fitted, that's like easily an extra $500 to $700 to get all the other stuff done to the dress.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Absolutely. That was why I cheaped out on my dress because I was like, I'd rather spend the money on the alterations and not on the dress itself.
Yeah. And there's a lot of secondhand places too that you can get dresses from because people will like buy their dress, wear it one time and then donate it. Or a lot of designers will just donate dresses to different charities in different places. And in hindsight, I kind of wish I would have went that route because it's more ethical, but I'll just end up donating my dress to someone in need. But that is an option as well. You can get brand new to like new dresses for significantly cheaper from secondhand and like consignment wedding dealers.
Yeah, there's a site called Secondhand Wedding Dresses or something like that. Like the name is, you know, very obvious. And people will sell like, you know, their lightly used wedding dresses or like there were a bunch of people who on that site where it was really sad and they were like, oh, my fiance left me. So I'm selling my dress. And I was like, oh, that's sad, but it's $200. So, okay. And also, thank you in the chat. A couple people have dropped some places in the Bay for where you can find secondhand dresses as well. Okay, and then next up, let's talk a little bit about balancing J fashion and tradition. So, do either of you guys have any like kind of traditional families? Either whether it's like cultural or religious traditions where you've been trying to incorporate that into your wedding?
My family's Christian and religious and we're not. So we're not incorporating any of that in our wedding. And it's kind of sometimes difficult to understand because, you know, people are like, oh, well, you know, are you going to like get married in a church or are you going to do this? And it's like, no, we're not. We're not going to do that. We're just going to say our vows and then ease on down the road. So yeah, that can be challenging sometimes, especially if you come from like a very traditional family. But other than that, we don't have anything cultural that we're incorporating.
Yeah. Yeah, my family is very similar. My mom's family is like very devoutly Catholic. And my fiance's family is like, they're not Mormon, but that's like, they're very close to it. It's weird. I don't know. I don't understand it that much. I'll be very honest, because neither of us are super religious. And so his fiance's family, or his family has been like very laid back about it. But my parents are like, oh, so you're going to get married at the church, right? And then we're going to have the wedding mass. And it's like, no, I'm not going to bring 30 Mormons into a Catholic church and like make them stumble through communion for the first time. Like, that's so rude. So it's been a bit of, I've ran into the same type of thing that you have, Kim, where it's like trying to balance those demands from my family with what I actually want on the day. And it's sometimes I'm just like, fuck it, we're going to go fly to Finland and elope.
Right? It's like, I thought this was my wedding.
Yeah. How about you, Michelle?
Our wedding was not very traditional, obviously. So we didn't have a wedding party or anything. We wanted to keep it really small. So we had a secular ceremony that actually I wrote because I didn't like any of the ones I was finding online. So I literally handed it to the officiator and said, can you do this instead? It was pretty short. And like I said, it was secular. My family's like not super religious or anything. But I mentioned my sister got married like a couple months later, and it was kind of funny, like seeing the contrast, because her husband's family is Armenian Orthodox, and those weddings are very, very, very elaborate if you've ever seen one.
No.
And it was really cool. Like they were in this gorgeous church, and they parts of the ceremony were in Armenian, and there was a part where they like were wearing crowns, and it was like super formal and traditional. And meanwhile, mine was like, we're in Vegas, and
did you go to the casino after?
And then we're gonna go eat food.
Nice.
So it was kind of interesting in that way.
Yeah, seeing that like sharp contrast between one and the other.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. So next, let's move on to my favorite part, which is food. I love going to weddings and eating everybody's food. So please tell me about your food plans.
I will talk all about my food because I also love food. I feel like the food was like the hardest part because a lot of venues. So ours is a BYOB venue or BYOE, which is like bring your own everything. You get the venue and everything else you have to bring in, which was very important to my fiance because he wanted to choose the caterer. Because a lot of venues you can only go with their caterer, and sometimes the food's like not that good. So we ended up going with barbecue. Hold on. Okay. I had the same reaction, right? Like,
no, I love
barbecue.
this.
Originally, I was like, barbecue? Who was going to be eating ribs in a white... Like, I'm not... No. But this place is like Santa... like a Santa Maria barbecue. Okay. So it's like tri-tip, and they like bring in this huge grill. Then they like smoke it outside for like 5 hours while you're getting ready. So you're just smelling all the food and you're starving while you're getting ready, I guess.
That seems too cruel.
Yeah, I know. But they're like, they're a husband and wife couple, and they have like it's like a whole family business. And when we met them, it like really felt like they really cared about what the couple wanted. And it felt like, we were family, and they were like really friendly and all of that. So I'm really excited for barbecue. It's like tri-tip steak, and it's like grilled zucchini and like crazy salad, and like
that sounds so good.
I'm really excited.
Invite to your wedding.
So yeah, and it's a lot more cost effective that way too, instead of like a super fancy plated dinner to do barbecue. Plus, like, who doesn't like barbecue, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's some people that they're not important, and I hope you won't invite them to your wedding.
Yeah, no.
I have to confess,
watch it online.
Oh, Michelle.
Well. So I'm not invited to Kim's wedding.
Oh no, you don't like barbecue?
No. I'm like the only one in my family.
We'll have grilled vegetables. You like grilled vegetables?
I do like grilled vegetables.
Okay, I'll send you a plate.
And the grilled zucchini sounded really good.
Yeah.
All right. So Michelle, I know you just said you guys like basically got married and got some food. Tell me about the food.
So our reception dinner was at a restaurant that's actually in the Venetian called Zeffirino, and it's not there anymore, which I was really sad about. But I'm not gonna lie, half the reason I picked it was because the inside was really pretty, and their upholstery was like royal blue, and of course I was like, how can I make this work for me? So yeah, we had it at this restaurant called the Zeffirino. It was really, really nice. We picked like one of their wedding packages. So we had like a sea bass for one option, and like I can't remember if it was chicken or steak. I had the sea bass. So Nicole says it was chicken. And then we just bought like a wine package as well. We didn't have like a huge bar or anything. Nice. But it was really nice. And we wanted to go back on our first year anniversary. We went to Vegas to celebrate our anniversary because we thought it'd be fun. And we were going to eat at our wedding restaurant, and it was closed. Like a year after we got married. I was really sad about it.
That's really sad. I'm sorry.
So, but it was really nice. We had some nice photos that came out of it.
Nice. Yeah, I think the food has actually been a point of contention in our wedding planning, because my fiance desperately wants a taco truck, and I have really bad reflux and a lot of dietary restrictions.
Oh no!
Yeah, so I can't really have Mexican food. So I was like, Oh, please. So our alternative plan is a local cafe that makes incredible cakes because, if I'm getting married, like I just want to eat cake all day. That's like literally, that's what I came for, to like look hot in a dress and to eat a fuck ton of cake. That's it. That's all I want. So I'm trying to convince him of that, but he's still really, we'll like have conversations. Yeah, I'm on board. That sounds great. And then he'll be like, oh, but I found a taco truck.
No.
So hopefully once we get a date pinned down, I think I will just plan the food and have a taco option for him. So
yeah, there you go.
Too. And we keep everybody happy.
Since our wedding was dead of summer, well, not really dead of summer, we're trying to incorporate like slushies, like boozy slushies somehow. So
I like it.
Looking for recipes for that. That seems cool. Although I guess a person who's professional could probably handle that. And then we're also doing a I'm not a huge cake person. Like I like cake, but I don't love cake like that. So we opted for like a local dessert place that's just going to bring in like 5 or 6 different desserts and then have them at the tables for people. So they can choose between like snickerdoodle bars or like brownies or whatever. So
nice.
Yeah. When I tell people I'm not into cake, they're like, "You're not going to have cake?" It's like, okay, come on.
Well, it's not your wedding, Karen. Calm down.
Yeah.
I think in terms of drinks, since we're having our wedding at a winery, there's obviously going to be wine. But again, I have a bunch of dietary restrictions. Actually, I'm not supposed to have wine either. So on the slushy front, I think we're going to hire this local restaurant that's like they have like a tiki bar. And so we're going to like hire some of the bartenders and have them bring down their little tiki bar slushy machine so that people can like black out on tropical slushies.
Yum.
So I'm really looking forward to that. So yeah. All right. So next up we have, let's talk about kind of other like wedding related festivities. So like your rehearsal, bachelorette party, those types of things. Have either of you guys like tried to kind of incorporate your J fashion into your pre or post wedding festivities?
We didn't really do a lot of the like other stuff that goes with the wedding. Like we didn't have like a shower or I guess we didn't really have a bachelorette party. We kind of had an impromptu bachelorette party the night before because we were in Vegas. So it was like 3 a.m. and I'm in a club like, I'm getting married tomorrow. That was a good memory. But other than that, we just kind of, we didn't really do too much other stuff. We had a rehearsal dinner. There wasn't much of a rehearsal. It was pretty short. So we just kind of like had a planned dinner with everyone the night before. But it wasn't really like too J fashion inspired. We had sushi. I don't know if that counts.
How about Japan? Yeah, Japanese.
Yeah, totally.
How about you, Kim?
This is also a very difficult thing, right? Because we're trying to be as like, I'm going to take these bracelets off because they are out of control. Sorry for those. Okay. Yeah, we're trying to be as like safe as possible and responsible as possible. I don't like bachelorette parties like that. I think the whole idea of like getting trashed and like it's the last hurrah is like, I'm more like, can we just like chill out and just get a massage and a facial? So I honestly, I don't know what my friend is planning, if anything at all. But since we're not having like an actual J fashion wedding, I would love to have like a remote bridal tea party. Like an OTT bridal tea party where everyone gets to get OTT in their house and like
so fun.
Do some bridal related games. So yeah, that's what I'm hoping to be able to do in lieu of not having any J fashion other things on our wedding. And then for rehearsal, that's another thing is like trying to be responsible. So I don't know if we're gonna have a rehearsal dinner like that. But yeah, maybe we'll all just get our own dinner and then turn our cameras on.
I feel like that's a cute alternative, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so a big part of the reason, this is gonna like make me sound like really fucking petty, but I don't care. Part of the reason that I was extremely insistent on delaying our wedding is because I really want to have like a fun bachelorette party, and not in the sense of like, you know, woohoo, last hurrah, because my fiance and I, like, we already live together, we own a house together, like we're not, you know, it's not like, oh, I'm gonna go like do it with a stripper or something. But I just really want an excuse. Most of my friends are friends I know through Lolita and J Fashion, and I really just want an excuse to like get dressed up in poofy dresses and go to Disneyland and like just really like go all out, like you know, go to one of the dessert parties, have like a fancy tea, go on all the rides, wear like my little bride Mickey mini ears. So that's part of the reason everything is on hold, because I'm not getting married until Disneyland opens again, and I can, you know, cry with my friends while the Circle of Life plays at the light show.
Yeah.
I love it.
No, I feel that 100%.
Yeah. So, and the other way that we did kind of incorporate right immediately before COVID happened, and we actually had our engagement pictures done, and I wore Lolita for our engagement pictures. And I don't know if you can see it very well in this one, but the dress is actually one from Emily Temple Cute that has like a diamond ring print all over it that they did for their 20th anniversary. So there's like a lot of cute photos with like my ring and the dress like being all, you know, fancy. So yeah, but that, you know, for the most part, I think I'm with you guys. Like it's, you know, the J Fashion stuff is more incidental, or because I have a lot of friends who are into J Fashion. I'm not so much planning, you know, like, oh, let's do a Lolita meetup at my wedding. So as much as, you know, I don't know, maybe I feel like it'll be an accidental Lolita meetup anyways, with like all, you know, 40 of my Lolita friends rolling up.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. I love it.
Yeah, so I'm super amped for that. So yeah, and somebody in the chat mentioned they spent their honeymoon at Disney World, and the cast really did everything to make it magical. That is part of the reason that I really am holding out for the Disney thing. Right before, like, just a few weeks before we went into COVID lockdown, I actually went to my best friend's wedding down in Florida, and for their wedding, they went to Disney World for the honeymoon, and we like all just like went with them, and the staff really went out of their way to make everything like super fun and entertaining and nice. So I'm like, I want that for me.
Are you going to send Disney an invite to your wedding? Because I heard if you send them an invite, they send you things.
Well, I am now. I mean, for a while, I was trying to convince. I found out that you actually can get married at the Cinderella Castle in Disney World, and it is not as expensive. It's, you know, obviously you're getting married at Disney World. It's kind of expensive, but it's not as expensive as you would think. And it's like a full package deal. Like you get the food, they have a photographer, they have like the venue for you and everything. So for a while, I was actually trying to convince Richard to do that, but he is not a Disney person, is how I will put it.
Yeah.
So it's okay. Maybe next time.
Renewal.
Yeah. I mean, he's coming around, so we'll get there. Okay, so last up, let's discuss, before we kind of get into questions and stuff, let's chat about honeymoon. So Michelle, where did you guys go for your honeymoon?
We are predictable, so we went to Tokyo. And we did a lot of shopping. And that's mostly what we did, like our entire trip, was we hung around. We had our hotel in Shinjuku, and we did the whole Harajuku thing, walked down Takashita Street, went hunting through Closet Child, all that good stuff. And it was really fun. Like I said, I got my, we went to La Forêt during their Grand Bazaar, which I did not know. And it was such an experience. Just shop girls like shouting through the hall. It was just super crowded and crazy, but it was really fun. And like I said, we went to Atelier Perot and I bought this dress there. So this is like my honeymoon dress. So it's like sentimental to me. Yeah, but it was really fun. We had the tiniest hotel room in this hotel, this like super foreigner like targeted hotel in Kimbuucha, which was really cool. And then we realized with all the hotels that were around us, we're like, man, there's a lot of hotels in this area. And then we realized that they were love hotels. And I'm like, I guess we're in Kabukicho.
Nice.
You get more space.
Yeah, I know Kim's right. That's been. I mean, space is important, especially in Tokyo, right?
You're gonna be shopping with all them suitcases.
Yeah. Well, now you can bring the 2 suitcases. So you bring, one with your clothes to wear, and then one to hold all the shopping, right? So yeah,
I did that, and I still had to send home 2 boxes.
Nice.
So
I did a shopping when I went to Tokyo. I was like, I'm not going to bring a suitcase. I don't want to buy too much. And so, of course, I brought like the tiniest suitcase, and nothing I bought fit in it. So I had to like ram it all into my sister's suitcase. And she was just like,
it's a good
"You're
sister.
lucky I like you." Well, she doesn't speak Japanese, so I was the translator the whole trip. So she was like, "It's fine. I owe you a favor." So Kim, do you guys have any honeymoon plans, or is that kind of on hold due to?
We were originally like before COVID, we were like, let's do honeymoon in Japan because we both like really want to go back to Japan. But then we were like, we want to relax, and in Japan, it's like you gotta do things. So
it wasn't a relaxing honeymoon. It was fun, but it was not relaxing.
We had talked about going to Croatia because my fiance's family is actually Croatian and Italian, and his grandparents live in Croatia.
Oh.
But that doesn't work either. So we would love to go to Hawaii. We have family relatives that like are allowing us to use their condo in Hawaii. So that's cool. But of course, when it's safe to do so. So we haven't like purchased tickets or anything, but we just know there's just an open invitation to go there when it's safe to go. So that's where we're going to go for a week to Kauai. Kauai? Yes, Kauai.
Yeah. I was going to say Kauai, like the Hashmi Island, right? I think in true like Lolita, I guess, form, we also want to go to Japan. And I think that's another part of the reason we decided to delay is because Richard is really into history. And so he really is excited to go and kind of visit like all of the historical sites in Japan. And I think I think we want to have a slightly more relaxing trip. So it's probably going to be very like, hot springs and like hike focused as opposed to shopping because I have so many fucking dresses and I really don't need any more. So I have like a couple hundred. So I'm like really like, I got a lot, too many. And I don't need to come home. I need to be kept away from Closet Child, the website. I need to especially be kept away from Closet Child, the store. So I'm actually super looking forward to going to like Hokkaido and like staying at like a nice little, a nice little inn with a little hot spring. So yeah.
I wish we had done more of that when we went to Japan because we spent our whole time in Tokyo.
Was that your first time going?
It was my first time. Yeah, it was one of our first times. So I think if we do, we want to go back, and I'd like to do more than just Tokyo, because like I said, it was being in the city and doing the whole experience, and all that was fun. But I want to see like more.
Totally,
absolutely.
So
I think
we'll see.
Yeah, I think our first trip, I had the same like kind of regrets. It's like, well, we didn't really go to the countryside or we didn't relax. And it's like, I think for the first trip, it's like, you got to see all the things that you've been wanting to see since you were a kid. And then the second time, it's like, all right, let's do some more adult grown things and relax. And
yeah, exactly. I think that was when we went for the first time, it was the same. Like we went to Tokyo, it was like extremely busy because we were only there for a week. So it's like this time I want to see the sites and do some of the things that I didn't have an opportunity to do, because I was like beating up people in AP lines and stuff like that. Okay, so now I want to open it up. If anybody in the audience has any questions, concerns, thoughts, things they would like to share about their own wedding, the floor is open. Okay, so Mindy wants to ask, I'm going to put this up very briefly on the screen, but not for too long because it's going to block Kim partially. Mindy
it's fine.
How do you guys feel about your guests wearing Lolita to your wedding? Do you have any rules, i.e. not white, not too extravagant, etc.?
Because my wedding's in summer, I don't want to make, I'm totally cool with it. Like, if someone wants to wear Lolita, that's fine. I honestly don't think anyone's going to outshine me personally.
Yeah.
Because
I love
I'm going
your
to have the
confidence.
best lashes, the best makeup, the best dress. Like, it's totally fine. But I would, if people were to ask if it's okay, I would suggest to them, like, wear a more toned down version of Lolita, right? Like, this isn't a high OTT, like, this isn't like, you know, an event. This isn't where you're going to get your pictures taken. I mean, you are, I guess, to some degree, but like, learn how to respect people and not try to take the eyes off of the focus of the entire event that you're there for. So yeah, I personally don't care about people wearing white, but I wouldn't do it. So I would hope that people would expect not to do that. So very long-winded answer, but yeah.
No, it's a good answer. How about you, Michelle? Did anyone wear Lolita to your guys' wedding?
I feel the same way. I don't really, honestly, I don't have that many J fashion friends like in real life. And so it wasn't really like even a question, but I mean, I wouldn't mind. In fact, I'd probably think it was pretty cool. Like, again, just like Kim said, as long as it's like respectful, you know, you're not trying to take, you know, it's your wedding day. I mean, it's supposed to be your day. So you don't want, the whole thing is like, yeah, you're supposed to be like the best looking person in the room. And I did have a funny moment where my sister wondered, is it disrespectful if I wear black to your wedding? Because her dress was like this black and white floral kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. I think it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I've been struggling the same because I had like my dress is blue. And so my mom was asking, she's like, oh, so what color? Like, should I, like, so your wedding colors are blue and pink. Should I wear blue? And I was like, you know, I actually don't have a good answer to that.
I didn't really know how to respond. I'm like, I guess you can.
Yeah. It's like, I don't think anybody's going to confuse, you know, actually, no, it's a lie. People have confused me and my mom before, bizarrely. But I don't think anybody, like, I'm going to have a veil on. Like, nobody's going to be wondering, like, oh, who's the bride?
Yeah.
So, and I think I feel similarly to you guys. Like, you know, our venue, both for the ceremony and for the reception, it's mostly outdoors. And so I don't want people to wear OTT, not because I really care about them, like, outshining me, just because I don't want somebody to, like, twist an ankle or, like, lose their $300 headdress in the grass somewhere, you know?
Yeah.
But, like, so I hope people would tone it down for their own sake so they don't get hurt or their clothes don't get damaged. But, like, fundamentally, I don't really mind, like, as long as they don't mind my weird non-Lolita family members being like, oh, are you Simone's friends with the puffy dresses? So, but I think if you're going to wear Lolita to a wedding, you know you're going to get those questions. So, you know, they'll be ready for it, I hope.
Yeah.
Okay, does anybody else have any questions, concerns, thoughts, things they want to share about their own wedding?
Wedding planning during a pandemic is the absolute worst thing I think I've ever had to do in a very long time. So if anyone else is currently, like, dealing with that, you know, I think a lot of people are still very much trying to be like, it's my day, and, like, I'm just going to go with it, and forgetting that, like, it's still a very risky thing to do. So don't be afraid to, like, put your plans on hold, like what other people are doing, to be able to do it safely, responsibly. And you can also save more money that way. It's more time to save money for the wedding. So
yeah. Yeah, I feel like that is a non-negligible bonus for us as well. That we're having a little more time to save money and a little more time to plan, because I think the wedding planning process always feels like it's a little rushed. So.
Yeah. Especially with, like, the power of cameras and videos. Like, we were lucky enough to get someone to volunteer to, like, remote produce our wedding, so all of our friends and family can watch it online and still feel incorporated in it. So we're trying to find ways to make it interactive for them as well as with us. So, like, that is a total option if you are, like, you have other things to do. So for us, we are trying to, like, start a family and a bunch of other things. So because of that, that's kind of why we haven't decided to move our wedding. So we still want people to be able to join safely. So we're going to live stream it, and we still want those people to feel like they're a part of the wedding. So there's a lot of things you can do with the camera and the internet and still be able to have a safe wedding. So there's plenty of options out there to be able to do that. So do keep that in mind.
That's so true. So also Mindy actually had one more question. Sorry, I moved off from the question site. She wants to know, what do you guys think the ultimate J fashion wedding venue would be?
Mine would be the church that Malice Miser filmed Butter No Con Right in.
Oh my God.
Like, to me, that's like the pinnacle.
That, yeah. Is it sad? I almost briefly thought about getting married in the Catholic church in my city that I used to go to, because I was like, would give off like some pretty cool photo shoot vibes.
No, absolutely not.
It's from the 1800s, so it has like all of these like huge, like 20 feet tall stained glass windows and stuff, like, and like gorgeous decorations. I was like, maybe I'll just kind of like sneak in, take a picture or two. I'll be fine. How about you, Kim?
I honestly probably like Versailles.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, that would be good.
Yeah. Never been to Versailles. I've only seen pictures and watched the show. So that just seems like, yeah, the ultimate place, because I desperately want to be OTT Hime all day.
Yes.
Every day.
Yes. This is so funny. I feel like you guys both picked these like super cool options. My thought actually would be like, so a lot of Bay Area Lolitas might be familiar with this. A lot of local Lolitas get married at San Francisco City Hall because it was built in the 1800s, and it's like super picturesque, and it has all of these gorgeous like sweeping stairwells and like huge windows for beautiful photography. So actually, I think of that as like the ultimate J fashion venue, because so many Lolitas that I know have gotten married at this venue, and I just like, it's inextricably associated with Lolita weddings for me. Yeah. But you know, then the downside is you have to go all the way to SF and like find parking in the middle of the city and stuff like that. So, you know, is it worth it? Maybe. Okay, so we've got a couple more minutes left. So do either of you guys have any like closing thoughts or pieces of wedding wisdom that you want to impart? Sorry, I kind of put yours on.
There's a lot of pressures from other people to plan your wedding the way that they think you should plan your wedding. And remember that it's ultimately up to you and your partner to have the wedding that you want. So don't be afraid to go with what you both want and to go with that gut. That's the only thing I can say.
Yeah, that was kind of my takeaway too, was, I mean, people always say like, your wedding's for your family, not for you. And I'm like, that's so not true. Like, my mom would have much preferred I had a like totally traditional wedding. And, you know, we had like 1,000 people there because my family's like huge. And it just, we knew it wasn't something we wanted. So it was really hard to get other people to kind of accept that. Like, we don't want a huge giant ceremony. We want a small ceremony so we can have, you know, go big on the things we want to go big on. Like, I had a really specific vision for my dress, and I had a really specific vision for, like, we knew we wanted to do the honeymoon in Japan. That was going to be expensive. So like, don't let other people pressure you. Like, yes, to some extent, like, you want your family to have a good time and stuff, but it's your wedding, it's your day. Like, do it the way that you want to do it. Otherwise, just, you don't want to regret anything.
Yeah. And I think my closing thoughts are very similar to Michelle and Kim's. You know, I think especially because like I've been in Lolita for such a long time, I think there's sometimes a lot of like pressure, or there's a certain expectation of like, oh, so you're a Lolita, so you're going to have like this type of wedding, you're going to have this type of venue, wear this type of dress. Like, there's kind of a set of like pre-expectations that people place on you. And I'm just like, I'm not wearing one of those ugly baby wedding dresses that cost like $2,000 and would make me look like a baby, like a literal baby. Like, I'm not, that's not my aesthetic, and that's not my preference. And, you know, you shouldn't feel pressured to do something you want just so you can say that you did it. You know, you should make sure that what you're doing for your wedding is genuinely what you and your partner want to do, so that it can be a special day that is a true reflection of both of your personalities. So, yeah.
Yes, very well said.
And also, we have actually one last question. Nico Chico wants to know what our thoughts are on the single women who kind of dress up in wedding dresses by themselves and then do photo shoots.
Honestly, that sounds awesome. Like, that would be so fun.
I know. Like, you dress up in a fancy dress and like take photos. Like, where do I sign up?
Yeah. I do you. Like, you have to live your life the way that it's your life. You only get one. And if that's what you want to do what you want to do. Like, people will always have something to say regardless. And if that's what's going to make you happy and feel better about yourself and make you feel like, yeah, I look good. Like, I don't care what anyone else says.
Yeah. That's the most important part, is that you're happy. And I think too, like, you shouldn't have to wait around for like some lame dude to like propose before you feel like you can put on a fancy dress and take some hot photos of yourself, right?
Yeah.
I think, yeah, totally.
You can do that whenever. So yeah, I guess that's my closing thought. Take as many photos in fancy dresses as you want.
Oh yeah, someone said don't overspend. Yeah, weddings, man. Along that note, like, don't be afraid to ask people for help. You would be surprised the people who want to help you with your wedding, and not even just like monetarily. Like, they will make you things. They will take on responsibilities for like creating things. Someone is sewing like masks for our wedding. So like,
super sweet.
Yeah, you'd be surprised the people who want to help you, especially right now, because people are like, I feel like dying for like connection and conversation and things like that. So don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's, I mean, also, like you mentioned, like people making things for you, that can be really sentimental in a way too. Like, I had the big fancy wedding dress, but like my mom made my veil. And that was, I mean, that's something that's just, you know, it's important to me. I think about it, I'm like, oh, my mom made that. And it wasn't anything like extravagant. It was just black tulle with some lace at the bottom, but it was, no, it was simple. It fit my purpose, and my mom made it. So
yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like, one of our friends is a photographer, and like we asked him, like, you know, oh, can we like pay you to do like our engagement photos? And he was like, oh no, like, you guys really helped. Like a few months prior to our engagement photos, he had like not had a place to live, and so he lived with us for like a month or two. And he was like, oh no, you guys like really helped me out when I needed it. It's like, I'd be happy to like do your photos for free. Like, just let me know what you need. I want to take them. And we were like,
that's a big one. That is a big ticket item right there.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I was like, are you sure? And he was like, yeah, if you try to pay me, I'm going to send it back. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, we were super happy we didn't have to also buy a photographer.
Yeah, I mean, and I feel like finding a photographer who's like who you feel comfortable with,
yes,
who knows like how to make you look good in photos is so hard, but so important. Yeah. So
we really lucked out with ours.
Yeah.
She just happened to be really, like, I don't know, we were on a wavelength. It was good.
Nice.
Just vibing. Okay. All right. So we're at the end of our time, unfortunately. But I just want to thank everybody for coming. And if you're signed up for the social mixer, it's going to start in like 30 seconds. So move fast. And then if you did not sign up for the social mixer, the next thing that we have lined up for Garnet Gâteau is going to be our closing ceremonies. And those are at 5 o'clock PST or 8 p.m. EST. We're going to announce the winners for the charity drawing, as well as the winners of the coordinate contest and the winners of the DIY contest. So be sure to tune in. But thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.